I never imagined a simple evening conversation could shift the entire balance of my marriage. Clara had always carried a sharp tongue, quick, cutting, capable of slicing through confidence before you could brace for it. But that night in our Portland apartment, she crossed a line I hadn't seen her approach before. The living room was dim, the soft hum of the ceiling fan blurring into the background. I was stretched out on the couch, scrolling through my tablet, when she leaned against the doorway wearing that familiar half-smile. "You do know," she said lightly, almost playfully, "that I could have someone else in my life by morning if I felt like it." She tilted her head, eyes challenging me, waiting for the flare of jealousy. I didn't give her one. I didn't even lift my eyes. Clara always fed on reactions, anger, fear, the slightest tremor of insecurity. I wasn't offering any of that tonight. I placed the tablet down carefully so the soft click echoed in the quiet. "Is that so?" I said, voice steady. Not hostile, not mocking, just calm, calm enough to throw her off balance. Her smirk wavered. She had expected an explosion, or at least a sharp comeback. But nothing happened. "You're not taking me seriously," she said, baffled. "I am," I said gently. "I just don't feel threatened." A flicker of uncertainty crossed her face, the slightest crack in her confidence. "Try it then," she fired back, though her voice had lost some of its spark. "See what happens." For years, Clara had maneuvered our marriage like a strategist, small digs, well-timed remarks, subtle pushes designed to make me question myself. But that evening, the pattern didn't play out. Not because I fought back, but because I refused to enter the arena at all. I studied her, really studied her. Beneath the defiance, there was something else, fear, insecurity, the belief that control equaled safety. "So, you're just going to sit there and let me talk like that?" she asked. I shook my head slowly. "I'm not letting anything happen. I'm simply noticing." Observation wasn't a language Clara understood. She was used to immediate reactions, predictable escalations, a cycle we had fallen into too many times. But I wasn't stepping into that loop anymore. She crossed her arms, leaning back, silent, stretching. Then her voice lowered, cautious. "And if I did find someone else? If you were gone tomorrow, would it matter to you at all?" I thought about it, not because I was wounded, but because I wanted to answer with care. "I'd care," I said finally. "But not in the way you imagine. I'd care about honesty, about respect, about the truth between us. Those aren't things you replace overnight. Not ever." Her expression faltered again, uncertainty tightening her mouth. "I mean someone who could love me, laugh with me, spend time with me," she continued. I interrupted softly. "Love isn't something you trade out when you're bored, Clara. What you're talking about, replacement, is just a story you tell yourself. It's not real." She narrowed her eyes, frustration and curiosity mixing. For the first time, she faced a version of me she couldn't push around. The usual dance, the provocation, my reaction, her victory, had stopped. The quiet that followed felt heavier than any argument we'd had. She was working through the new dynamic, trying to find her footing. Finally, she let out a breath. Maybe I misjudged you." Her tone wasn't mocking. It was contemplative, almost humbled. I nodded, letting her words settle. I knew this wouldn't magically fix everything. Clara would always test boundaries, always probe. But when someone's influence depends on provoking emotion, choosing not to react removes their leverage entirely. "You really don't feel threatened?" she asked quietly. "No," I said. "My sense of self doesn't depend on someone competing for my attention. And whatever our marriage is, whatever it becomes, won't be defined by fear." She studied me, head tilted, a hint of reluctant admiration in her eyes. "You're too calm," she whispered. Calm, I realized, unsettled her more than anger ever could. Calm meant clarity. It meant she no longer held the reins. "I'm not here to prove anything," I said. "And I'm not here to watch you prove anything either. Love isn't about outrunning someone. It's about depth, honesty, trust. Without that, everything else is just noise." She shifted slightly, no smirk this time, just thoughtfulness. The silence that followed wasn't hostile or tense. It was reflective, unfamiliar territory for both of us. Her voice softened. Maybe I don't have as much control as I thought. That small sentence marked a turning point. Not a victory, but a change. A recognition that control had never been the foundation it seemed to be. I gave her a small, steady smile. It's not about control. It's about understanding yourself. Understanding each other. Anything built on fear isn't real. She nodded, the weight of the moment settling in. The energy between us had shifted. No shouting, no bitterness. Just something quieter, truer. We went to bed that night, without the usual tension. For the first time in years, I felt peaceful. Clara, for all her bravado, had run into something she couldn't manipulate. Patience. Self-assurance. Silence. And in that stillness, I realized something important. Real strength isn't loud. It isn't reactive. It doesn't rush. It's steady, rooted, sure of itself. The kind of strength that doesn't need to fight to be seen.